Welcome back, guys, to the third episode of the Mitsubishi series. And in this episode we have Baku. And before we head into the race, I need to apologize for the sound. I accidentally streamed Tom 97 streaming, and I recorded at the same time, so I messed up. But into Baku we go. We are starting from the back, mediums, and we are underway. We get a decent start here from the back, and into turn 1 we need to be very careful of not damaging our wing as we dive in and we take a really tight corner, and we manage to get through that unscathed, and we dive yet again on the inside, this time a bit closer to some damage as we squeeze Ocon there a bit, but he manages and I manage to get away without damage. Now we are 2 races in so far. We had a P12 in Bahrain, and we have a P16 in Catalonia. And now with the third round in Baku, I've actually always scored my first points here in every series that I've done. The original My Team series, which didn't take off because lack of motivation, or the game was really bad at the time. My first points were actually scored in Baku, and in the Road to Glory Haas series we scored a podium somehow with the rain. So even though I don't like this track at all, I somehow always managed to score here. But P13 now at the end of lap 1, we do have the best engine in this game, and with a massive straight here we can make some decent overtakes, but that requires us to set them up beforehand. We need to stay close to them in sector 1 and sector 2 so that we may attack in sector 3. And now we are behind Alonso. We set a purple sector 3 there, and we have a yellow flag up ahead. What has happened up ahead, I think we are about to see. Someone is going slow there. Who is that? It looks like a Mercedes, and it's Bottas. And as he starts smoking, Bottas already with an engine failure. Feels bad, man, for Bottas, as we have a virtual safety car here. I think you can hear the Tom 97 stream in the background a bit. Again, sorry for that. But Bottas is out, and we are under VSC. And somehow we have gained time to Alonso under the VSC. Sometimes it's weird how that works, but hey, we take those, what can I say? But yeah, into the slipstream we go, and Alonso is being closer to the car than I am, so I can afford to brake late while he can't.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
So now that we have DRS, our main objective is to get within that juicy 1 second. And once you get DRS on Baku, you don't really lose it, because there's so many straights. And now you can see we have set up Alonso for turn 1, and Verstappen says the fastest lap there. We hit DRS, we are in the slipstream. We are not using that much battery though, it's important to conserve. And we are now closer than ever to Alonso, who is in P11. And Alonso is really close to Tsunoda, and up ahead Vettel. So we have a decent chance here of scoring points, especially with Tsunoda being on his soft tire and us going to soft tires later on in the race. But now we are super close to Alonso, and I think on the next straight, as long as we keep up here in sector 2, we should be able to mount an attack on the Alpine car, the 2-time world champion. So far so good. We are keeping up through I think one of my most hated parts of any racetrack is that castle section. Mainly because I do a Leclerc in almost every race. But here we go then, we are out of the horrible Sector 2 and now into the very fun Sector 3 for me. We set up, we have a red Sector 2 usually, and into Sector 3 now we have Alonso very close. We use battery, we are in the slipstream, it's time for DRS in just a couple of seconds. And let's see if we can do anything here into turn 1. We are gaining. And we overshoot it, and Alonso retakes his position. I think we completely missed our braking point there. Or couldn't brake because we were way too deep into that corner, way too much overspeed. But here, a lap later, we try again. This time we are way closer to Alonso, and it should be done and dusted in this lap, otherwise I may have to retire out of shame. But now the Alpine and I are wheel to wheel, and into turn 1 we actually do manage an overtake here. My teammates is going in for his stop, and I am pushing a few laps more, I think at least. Tsunoda ahead. If Tsunoda boxes though, I think I do have to box to overtake him in the pits, because I'm further down in the pits and I'm going to soft tires, so I need to overtake him and build a gap.
Understood, stopping this lap.
So here we go. We see Tsunoda and Vettel head into the pits, so we have to do the same. And important not to get a penalty here. Now 1.8 stop in Bahrain and 1.9 in Spain. What time are we gonna get here? And we get a 2.4, but we get held in the pits somehow.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
That was such a bad spot to be held in, but such is F1 sometimes. You just take what you can.
Giovinazzi ahead. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 6 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The car ahead has damaged the front wing, but it seems fairly minor. The time last lap was a 1:46.3.
Finally now, after Jeff shuts up, we can attack Giovinazzi, and he should be able to give us no resistance at all, as he needs to pit. But up ahead, we are still within reasonable time to Tsunoda, and our teammate behind us is gonna stay behind us. I don't think he has the pace to catch us. He hasn't been great so far, Robert Schwartzman. I've seen better. But we take turn 1 here, and Giovinazzi is still staying out. He is doing a very late stint on the softs, it seems. But we can see Latifi ahead and Tsunoda, and we are gaining time. We've set a purple sector 1 here on lap 8, and we overtake Latifi. We are very careful not to get wing damage. We have a little oversteer moment, and we get through the castle section despite that. And now we are tucked in behind Sebastian Vettel, who is in turn tucked in to the slipstream of Tsunoda. So now it's important that we keep up this pace and do our best to overtake these cars. On green sector 2 we improve by a fair margin there, and now we have a long straight now to attack. What can we do? We have
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
we have a small amount of battery to use, and we need to recharge. A dive is not looking probable here, so it's important just to stay close and try again in the next DRS zone. I keep trying to fake to the left to see if the AI will respond. Or maybe we open up a gap for a dive bomb. And Sebastian swallows the bait and we overtake the Aston Martin. And now we are in between the Alpha Tauri and the Aston Martin. And Sonoda, I think we have a pace advantage on right now, while our softs are relatively fresh. But into the castle section we go here, and they have really good acceleration out of the corners, the AI. I can't really keep up that pace. I gained the time back on the straights and in the braking zone, because the AI always brakes early. But it's just something that I need to get better on. But now, into the end of lap 10 here, on the DRS we have slipstream and we have small amount of battery and DRS. And we are gonna stay close to him.
Keep managing your tires. Manage your tires.
And we absolutely send one on Sonoda there. I'm surprised that even worked. But we make the overtake happen and we are into P8 right now. Gasly, the other Alpha Tauri, is way too far ahead, so we are right now only fighting with Sonoda. And because my softs are going off, we need to start playing some games here with Yuki. And I need to start letting him by in before the DRS detection point, so that I can grab DRS and re-overtake him into turn 1. Otherwise this will never go. So now Yuki overtakes me because he has DRS on me. So I need to stay close to him and do the same to him over and over again until the race end. And then I need to defend on the last lap. So here we have done turn 1 and turn 2, now turn 3 and the first DRS zone. We are gonna look to mount a dive on this Alpha Tauri, and we managed to hit one on the inside. Slow corner exit, but Yuki is equally slow because we block him off a bit. So now we need to gain a couple of tenths on him to survive sector 3.
5.3 seconds.
And it's not looking good. The softs are falling off and the mediums are starting to take over. He's hitting us with the same weapon that we hit him with in the first stint here. I think we had some slight contact to the wing in the castle section, unsurprisingly. But Yuki is 4-5 tenths behind and is probably gonna overtake us unless we do something here. And going into sector 3, he's closer than ever. And I think we are gonna try to hold on to this this position. But here comes the Alpha Tauri, and the overspeed is nothing to fight. We try a bit, and Yuki hits us. Probably a bit of unfair contact, but I take the wing damage. Wow, I can't speak. And yet again, I dive into turn 1.
This is your final lap.
But now with a little bit of wing damage, can I survive the middle sector and not lose enough time? I have to weave a bit here, break the slipstream, but the overspeed of the Alpha Tauri is unmatchable right now, for me at least. Vettel is behind me and Alonso is behind me.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
And we are holding a P9 right now. And Sonoda, with no wing damage, is pulling away right now with better tires. So I think from this point on, you can see there, I can't keep up anymore. My only job is to defend from Vettel to keep my P9. Verstappen wins this race, and yeah, I keep my 2 points. our first points with Mitsubishi, and I'm really happy that they came in Baku. It's becoming a bit of a tradition, and yeah, let's keep this up. I think this is driver of the day too. Yeah, there we go. Really good race.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So far in the season, Mercedes and Red Bull are the only ones to win races, so not unlike real life. But
Let's see how the driver standings have changed.
Lando there
Max
with
Verstappen
a podium.
now leads the drivers' championship. Some amazing talents out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Robinson. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Red Bull take over as championship leaders. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So we are P7 in the championship and P9, not P9, I think P8 in the drivers. Really good so far.
You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? Not a great day for your teammate today. What do you think went wrong?
I'm not really a fan of these questions with Claire. It's really hard to commentate over, and the questions are so basic. Yes, I was Claire because I have not focused on chassis at all, and I'm driving a boat with a V20 in it. I'm fast in a straight line and not so much else. 4-2 in the rivalry. And we get some much needed team acclaim. We don't get the money for out qualifying our rival, but that's gonna be it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.